Well, hello and welcome to Minnesota Homeownership Center's Welcome Home podcast. My name is Bill Gray, and today we've got a special show for you. I really like this one every year that we do it. We're going to meet three of our network homeownership advisors in honor of June Homeownership Month. To my right, I'm joined by Eboni Williams, a homeownership advisor with Model Cities in St. Paul. Welcome,
Hello.
Eboni.
Thank you.
Next is Amber Leisure, a homeownership advisor with Sota Fund in Minneapolis. Welcome, Amber.
Thank you for having me.
And then finally, we have Drake McCreary, a homeownership advisor with CAPI USA here in town. Welcome, Drake.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming, everybody. So let's talk about your respective organizations and the role of the homeownership advisor. We'll start with you, Eboni. Tell us a little bit about Model Cities and the typical prospective homebuyer journey there as they work with you to achieve homeownership.
Sure. So Model Cities is an organization that has been around for many, many years. One thing that we do is we work with our clients on homeownership. We work with them as far as getting their credit scores to where they can get approved for a loan. We also work with them on establishing a household budget and savings.
Okay, because that's important. Some people might come and they're all ready to go, and some others need some help and need to kind of get mortgage ready.
Right. So we try to meet our clients where they are. Some come in and they need an extra attention, and we work with those credit scores as well. And then some come in and they are to the point where they're almost ready. They just need a second set of eyes just to look at their credit report, just to go over things and make sure everything is fine before they take it to a lender.
Okay. Thanks. That's great. Let's see. I want to ask Amber here next about Sota Fund. I know that this is kind of a specialized organization focusing on serving the Twin Cities indigenous population. I think I read you yourself are a direct descendant of the Leech Lake Band of Ojibwe.
Yes, correct.
Right. Tell us a little bit about working with that population in particular. What are their situations, experiences, challenges? How are they maybe different from some of the others that we see?
So just a little bit of background of Sota Fund. We were originally established in 2011 as a community development loan fund. Just recently, I believe 2021, we became a CDFI financial institution.
That's right.
Yeah, so that was definitely a big step for us. Similar to Eboni, we offer that one-on-one home buying financial wellness coaching counseling piece. Something that is a little bit different about us is that we also do business TA, and then we have a small business loan, consumer loan, and credit enhancement loan product available, which is really competitive in the industry. And as far as just working with our native population, I would say that it's a different approach than if I were to work in other communities, as far as we just haven't had the generational experience of home buying and being able to lean on our parents or grandparents to say, how did this process work? So we're really there just to be a resource and to someone to lean on.
And most of the clients that you all serve are here in the cities, is that right?
Most of our clients, yes, are in the Twin Cities. However, we do serve the entire state of Minnesota. And a lot of participants are either from other reservations across the country who have come to the Twin Cities, or they were born and raised in the Twin Cities.
Okay. And so I just want to focus on you guys for 1 minute, because I think you're the only indigenous organization in our network, if I'm remembering right. I have been in groups and meetings where we talk about home ownership on the reservations and that kind of stuff, and the idea that the whole idea of housing is kind of different there.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that a little bit, or is that kind of outside your scope?
From personal experience, I have some understanding of it, as I have friends and family who live in tribal housing.
Tribal housing, right?
So it's definitely it's more income based. So there's not quite the need or desire to have a home ownership,
Right.
because there's a comfort level in that and it's already provided. Whereas in the Twin Cities, we don't have the specific homes or housing available. So we're out on the open market just like everybody else.
Yeah, super interesting. I love that we have expertise like yours and Minnesota Fund in our network because we would not be the ones to figure out how to work with that. So we appreciate that. Thank you. Drake, let's talk about CAPI USA a little bit. Let's see here. Same question. Who's the typical client that you guys serve, and how are their shared experiences the same or different from these communities that we've been talking about?
I think they're very similar to the two other people with me today. I don't think there's too much of a difference. I know CAPI originally started its business back about 41 years ago, and we really focus on the Asian community, just helping those people get simulated to the Minnesota lifestyle. We've changed that focus and really opened it up to say, okay, we're serving this community specifically. And we said, okay, how do we make an impact in the community that we do our business in? So we had to say, hey, we need to help out the Hmongs. We need to help out the Latinos. We need to help out every single person that lives in Minnesota. So we try not to have any borders besides the border of Minnesota against other countries or other states. So that's our big focus. And walking through the front door of CAPI, we really focus on saying, okay, once you get there, let's deal with your basic needs. After that, let's transition you over to employment so you can find some sort of job to start trending you in the right direction. And then they usually end up in our department, our financial services department. And then we say, let's create a budget. Let's go through your credit. Let's help you start building credit and then get you into home ownership, because not everybody wants it, but there's a lot of people that do, and they just struggle to get into the system.
Right. That's a really good point. A lot of our organizations are working with populations who are starting kind of at a, I guess for lack of a better word, a lower rung on the ladder to home ownership. And you guys are well positioned to help them with other resources as well, whether it's referrals or external referrals or internal referrals. So I just think that's great. And owning your own home as the goal for those that want to do that, it has the potential to change the trajectory of your family and their lives forever. It takes a lot of time and effort, but it can be achieved, and you guys do that every day. Let's talk about some of the challenges out there in reality land, with higher interest rates than last year and the year before, and inventories for first-time home buyers that continue to be anemic, for lack of a better word. What advice? How do you guys go about chasing this with your clients? You set expectations. People come in and say, I want to buy a house. I want to be in there by next month. How does this work?
Eboni, go ahead. You look like you're going to talk. Go ahead.
My opinion is when you are mortgage ready, I think it is the best time for you to jump into the industry. It doesn't matter what else is going on. I think you need to wait until you're ready and then make the best out of it. Because even if mortgage rates go down in the next few years, who's to say that there'll be as much down payment assistance out there? So right now, while there's assistance out there, go ahead and get yourself ready and get yourself prepared. If the inventory is low and you don't purchase now, you still have an opportunity to purchase later on. But kind of get ready and stay ready.
Yeah, get ready, be ready.
That's my take on it.
Yeah, that's really good advice. Get your ducks in a row, so that when the opportunity presents itself, you're not trying to catch up.
Right.
So, How about you, Amber?
Yeah, just to echo off of what Ebony was saying, I was recently asked the same question last week, and my advice is if you are mortgage ready, now is the time then, because who's to say what the industry is going to do, what the market rates will do. And right now, like, we probably won't see those interest rates at that 3.5%
Right.
again for a really long time. So either they're going to keep growing or
Right.
they're going to stay steady. And I really like the fact that you brought up, like, I want to buy a house in 30 days.
Yeah.
Well, even if you had everything checked off, you're still most likely not going to purchase a house in 30 days. So just to
30
give them
days is a typical closing.
30 to 45, right? So let's give ourselves some room. There's
Yeah.
always pushback
Yeah.
and something always is happening. So just to give real expectations and to say, because I've had people, I want to buy a house in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I see one. I want
Well.
that one. Sure. Well, no, I think that's really good advice. Don't try to time the market. I mean, they say that for other markets as well. But, a couple things that I think of. Yes, interest rates are higher today. Maybe they'll stay high. Maybe they'll go higher. Maybe they'll go down. Here's the deal. If they go down in a few years, you can refinance.
Exactly.
If you buy your house now, it doesn't have to be the house that you live in forever. And so just the idea of bringing some leeway into your thinking around this. Homeownership builds wealth, and it is a process. Even within homeownership itself, it's a process. You don't go and buy the I don't know what I want to say, $500,000 home as your first home.
Right.
I mean, maybe later, but that's the point. You'll build wealth if you buy now, and they go up to that later. I just like to reiterate that all the time. Don't try to time the market. The best time to explore this is when you are ready, and you can get ready now so you're ready later. Drake, do you have what insights do you have here?
To be honest, Bill, you stole my thunder.
Oh, sorry.
To be honest, and that's okay. But you're 100% right. Buy the house now. If you're ready to buy the house, buy now. Don't worry about interest rates. Don't worry about what you're seeing on the news. Just buy the house, refinance later. That's the best strategy, because you are building that wealth now.
Right.
And then when you refinance, hopefully it's in a better place. The interest rates are better, and you just lower your payment. So I sit down, strategize with them, these exact same ideas, these exact same concepts, to say, okay, we just have to work with your DTI a little bit better. We have to work at some of these other features that are going to need it in the mortgage a little bit differently, so we can strategize for your success now. Because I don't want to just get you in a house today. I want you to keep that house moving forward. So it's not a temporary fix.
This is supposed to be sustainable. That's how you make money for yourself.
Right.
So you mentioned DTI, debt to income ratio. This is one of the myths that we try to undermine. This is one of the myths that we try to set aside for people. There is no magic amount of money you should be making before you try to purchase a home. Your income is much less important than your debt to income ratio, that kind of thing. And again, this is the kind of thing that advisors like you guys can help prospective buyers to figure out for themselves. Let's talk about that for a minute. So if somebody comes in, you're doing a lot more than just kind of talking to them about the importance of having a better credit score. What are you doing? You're doing a soft pull on their credit. You're kind of giving them homework. Who wants to run with that one?
Since everybody already looked in this direction, I guess I'll start. That's all right. You're 100% right. We sit down, we pull their credit score and say, okay, here's the things that you need to work on. And at least for me, I try to highlight the areas and say, okay, this is how you fix this.
So give me an example of what you might see on there.
So because you already know, well, most people should know that coming out the gate, when you pull your credit score, 25% of credit scores are wrong. There's something wrong with it. Either your address, your name, whatever it is, that's going to be wrong. Sometimes just information that's on there that's wrong. So when you pull your credit score, you're going to say, okay, you know what? I don't remember collecting this debt, or I don't remember signing up for this.
Yeah.
And I see that a lot. And I'm just like, okay, well, let's pick up the phone and call and find out what's going on. And that's when you really start saying, okay, this is what you need to do. Pick up the phone, call the lender and say, do you have a record of me actually signing up for this debt? Because I don't remember it. So we got to verify that's what
So
it
this
is.
is that common, huh? 25%?
Yeah, 25%.
Because I remember, you just made me remember this, but the way back in the day, I pulled my credit and there was some furniture thing on there from like before I was even out of college. And I was like, what the hell is that? And I just thought it was a fluke. So you're saying 25% of the time there's incorrect information on people's credit records.
Yep. Yep.
Right.
And the nice thing is the law helps us clear that up. That's the best part about it. And sometimes people don't realize that the law is there supporting you. And so it's educating them on that piece. After we get through the credit, it's like, all right, let's sit down. Let's see, what's your budget? Do you have a budget in place? And let's be honest about it. Can we make some needs and wants and make some adjustments?
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about budget
because I'm excited about that topic. For me, like I ask participants if I can have their most recent bank statement. And what I do is I comb through it. I categorize their spending and then I lay it out on a spreadsheet and say, you know, here's your food. This is what you spent on eating out, snacks, whatever.
And this is news to most people because people don't track that. I mean, usually.
I know I don't all the time. I got to take my own self-inventory.
I have no idea how much money I spend on lunches.
Because it's easy just to swipe.
Yeah.
So if we, when I present this to them, they're like, oh, wow, I didn't realize I was spending this much money. And then from there, we can create actionable goals and then take, next month, like, okay, did that work for you? What didn't? And then adjust from there.
And you've seen success after success doing that.
Have, and I've actually had people come to me and be like, listen, I was in the store and I was like, Miss Amber's going to see me what I buy. Do I need this? Do I want this? So they have that second, thought of whether or not it's a want or a need.
Oh, wow. That's cool. All right. Who here teaches Homestretch? Any one of you? I know you're advisors and sometimes these duties are separated. Do any of you teach the class?
I facilitate Homestretch, and then there's also a credit portion that I can.
Okay. So Homestretch is the homebuyer education course that we're always talking about, and June is just a few days away, and for us that means Homeownership Month. Yes. We have a lot of consumer outreach around our classes, and many of our partners waive the fee for those classes that's charged to cover materials. So I took a look at the June's class schedules yesterday, and there are a lot of opportunities to take a free class during June. Model Cities has them. I know CAPI has one, I think. Yep. You guys probably have one. They are in person as well as virtual. They're all instructor led. And they're offered, these free classes are in English, Spanish, Amharic, Oromo, Somali. Outstate, we have multiple partners doing virtual classes, a couple in-person opportunities in Moorhead. This is an 8-hour class, and it covers everything under the homeownership umbrella, everything from A to Z. Let's jump in a little more and talk about how one of these classes works. You guys bring in outside experts like inspectors and that stuff. Give me an idea.
We do. So the class is a 8-hour class from 9 to 5, online or in person. And then we bring in experts from the industry. We're going to bring in a lender. We'll bring in a realtor to talk about those sections in detail, which we also allow the clients to ask as many questions as possible. One of the other sections that's in there is the closing. We bring in an actual closer. She's able to walk through the closing chapter. And then there's also another chapter on life after closing, about what happens next and preparing yourself for warranties and things that need to be replaced and things like that. So,
very cool.
I was just going to say, I like that part of having a closer and thinking about warranties because that's something that we have not thought about. We have an inspector, a realtor, a lender, a past participant, and then we're looking to get an insurance.
Ooh, a past participant.
I like, just to have their testimony and looking for an insurance agent to come. And then we also have a post-purchase maintenance class quarterly. So it's topic specific.
Oh, that's cool.
Once you are a homeowner, but you don't necessarily have to, you can still be a renter. We will definitely invite you to come. Just hands-on experience to start fixing things.
Like easy stuff, like swapping out electric outlet or something.
Yeah, so far this is brand new. And so far we've had like when you're a new homeowner, you want to change your locks, how to do that. So we've done that. We've done just kind of fixing the back of the toilet type things.
So common and so easy.
Yes.
And
Are those
people
classes
don't know it.
sponsored also?
Yes, they
Okay.
are.
Wow. How long are those classes?
Those are 10 to 2, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, 10 to 1 or 10 to 2.
Okay.
That is a very cool class.
It is.
I like it.
Yes, come see us.
Sure.
How about you, Drake?
Very similar. If anything, I'm going to steal Amber's idea, to be completely honest. So
Right.
like, during our home stretch, I was in corporate America in construction for 16 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I usually kind of teach that closing is like, okay, how do you become a homeowner? And we cover some of those basic things. It's like, okay, this is what you expect. When you're dealing with contractors, this is what you should know about. Because contractors will weasel themselves into more money than most people do.
Right.
So just being in the industry for years has been a huge help, and I have that. But I love the idea of just doing some once a month or whatever, saying, "Hey, we're going to teach you some of that." Because I typically say, most of the stuff you can find on YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube's an awesome resource. That's how I do a ton of stuff myself.
Right.
Okay.
But it's nice to at least say, okay, let's go physically do something.
Right.
Set up a situation. So
And if you're trying to do that electric outlet, just turn off the whole damn house. Don't take chances.
Yeah, exactly.
Sit and then turn it back on.
No emergency room visits.
Well, that's good. The timing thing on these classes is always interesting to me. I know that the class is required for certain types of loan programs, down payment assistance, and other special help. A lot of people take the class because they have to. But the feedback always says they wish they would have known about the class earlier, so they could have taken it and benefited from it, earlier in the process. So we always try to beat that drum and put the information out there that, if you're interested in homeownership ever, take this class, figure out how this process works. Because buying a car is hard. Buying a house is super hard.
Right.
And a lot of paperwork. But anyways, what else was I going to say here? Oh, this is a good piece of data. A couple of years ago, we saw the data moving to more people taking it voluntarily than taking it because they had to. So that gives me some hope that we are getting the word out. All right. So how can you take a homebuyer education class for free during June? And by the way, some of them are free for outside of June. I know Model Cities has some sponsorship from NARAB.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, you can usually find one of these classes for free. So how do you do it? Go to our website, hocmn.org/homebuyerEd. And you'll be able to access a listing of all the classes being offered for June. Click on any of them for details. Now, they're not all for free, but I counted nearly 30 that were yesterday, so it shouldn't be too much trouble finding one that fits your schedule. All right, so I always have this as my last favorite question. Is now the time to buy your house?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Tell me more.
When you are ready, that is the perfect time for you.
And the time to get ready is now.
Yes.
Now.
Yes.
There's a friend of mine, I asked her this question, when's the best time to buy a house? And she said, yesterday. She's not wrong. But anyways, any other advice in that department? What would you tell a prospective home buyer that's just like, wow, this market is crazy. There's nothing out there. The interest rates are high. I should just wait. You shouldn't wait, right?
I just tell them, it's like, who did you get your information from? Because sometimes the source of information has a huge part to do with it. So it's like, let me give you a different perspective. And I think that's what all of us are saying is, let's give you a different perspective.
Yeah.
When you're ready, you're ready. And that's the most important thing. And sometimes people hear the home stretch class and it's like, wow, it's 8 hours. It's so long. I don't have time. But I promise you, when you're in the class, it goes so fast.
And that's the thing. 94% of the people said it was worth it and that they recommend it to somebody else. That wouldn't be said for an 8-hour class if it was boring.
Right.
And there's little breaks in between, and there's a lunch break.
Mm-hmm.
We provide you great food.
Right.
Keep you fed all day.
So
Keep it
pick your class based on the food.
Yes.
It's not a bad idea. Well, good. All right. Let's see. Get ready now so you can be ready when the time is right for you. Thank you, you guys. I really appreciate it. Thanks for joining us. These are the folks, viewers and listeners. These are the folks that can help you make homeownership a reality for you. Call them up. Find their agencies on our website, hocmn.org. That's it for this episode, and I want to acknowledge our sponsors, Associated Bank, Bremer Bank, Midwest One Bank, and Old National Bank. Our sincere thanks to each of these organizations for their support. Thanks for watching and listening.